The haunting of the abandoned house. In the heart of a small, forgotten village, nestled between the shadowy folds of ancient forests, stands a house. This is no ordinary house, it is a relic of a time long past, its walls whispering secrets that only the wind dares to carry. The villagers, though they live just a stone's throw away, speak of this house only in hushed tones, their eyes darting to the ground as if to ward off the very mention of it. What is it about this place that chills them to their core? Imagine, if you will, walking down a narrow, cobbled path, where the air grows colder with every step. The trees seem to close in around you, their branches gnarled and twisted as if trying to reach out and pull you back. And then, through the mist, it appears, the house. Its once grand facade now crumbles under the weight of years, the windows shattered, like hollow eyes staring into the abyss. The door, hanging askew on rusted hinges, beckons you to enter, but who would dare? What happened here? Why does this place, above all others, carry the weight of such dread? The villagers tell tales, each more terrifying than the last. They speak of lights flickering in the dead of night, of shadows that move without a source, and of voices, oh, the voices, that whisper from the darkness, calling out names, sometimes even yours. But it wasn't always this way. Once, this house was full of life. Children's laughter echoed through the halls, and the warmth of the hearth could be felt from the street. What could have transformed a place of joy into a beacon of despair? Could it have been a tragedy? A crime? Or perhaps something darker, something that still lingers within those walls? As you listen to these stories, a chill runs down your spine. Could the villagers be exaggerating, or is there something truly malevolent at play? Some say the house is cursed, that those who enter never return the same. But what is a curse, really? Is it merely superstition, or does it hide a sinister truth waiting to be uncovered? Would you dare to step inside? To feel the floorboards creak beneath your feet, to see the flicker of movement in the corner of your eye, knowing full well that no one else is there? And what if you heard those whispers, calling your name, drawing you deeper into the heart of the house, where the light of day never seems to reach? The villagers say that even the bravest souls have fled in terror, their faces pale as the moon, their hands trembling with an unknown fear. They never speak of what they saw, if they speak at all. But the house remains, silent yet ever present, as if waiting for the next visitor, the next curious soul who might unravel its mysteries, or become another one of its secrets. Could it be that the house is not just a building, but a living, breathing entity, feeding off the fear and despair it generates? Does it hold the souls of those who once lived there, or perhaps of those who have entered, never to return? Or is it something else entirely, something beyond our understanding? As the night falls and the village retreats into the safety of their homes, the house stands alone, bathed in the pale light of the moon. And though no one is there to see it, you can almost imagine the shadows within stirring, coming alive, as if welcoming the darkness that only they can truly embrace. What would you do if you were standing before that house now? Would you turn away, retreating to the comfort of the known, or would you step forward, crossing the threshold into the unknown, seeking the answers that so many have feared to find? And if you did, would you make it out again? This is just the beginning of our journey into the mysteries of the abandoned house. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the stories, the hauntings, and the chilling experiences that have plagued this village for generations. What we uncover might just keep you up at night, questioning what you know, and what you believe. Ghostly apparitions on the rural road. There is a road, winding through the countryside, that many have traveled but few have truly seen. By day, it appears ordinary enough, just another stretch of asphalt cutting through rolling hills and fields of tall grass. But as the sun dips below the horizon, and darkness blankets the land, this road becomes something else entirely. It is then that the stories begin. Tales of ghostly apparitions that materialize from the mist, haunting those who dare to traverse this lonely path after nightfall. What is it about this road that draws the spirits of the past, making it a stage for spectral encounters? Imagine driving down this road late at night. The sky is ink black, and the only light comes from your car's headlights, slicing through the thickening fog. The road ahead seems endless, disappearing into the unknown. And then, out of nowhere, you see it, a figure standing on the side of the road. At first, it seems like a person in distress, someone who might need help. But as you slow down and approach, a chill runs through you. There's something not quite right about this figure. Its outline is blurred, its features indistinct, as if it's not entirely there. And then, in the blink of an eye, it vanishes, leaving you questioning whether it was ever real. Could it have been your imagination? Or did you just witness one of the many ghostly apparitions that have been reported on this road for decades? Drivers speak of spectral figures that appear suddenly in their headlights, sometimes standing by the roadside, sometimes in the middle of the road, causing them to swerve in panic. But when they stop to look, the figure is gone, leaving behind only the eerie silence of the night. Who are these ghostly figures? Some believe they are the spirits of those who met a tragic end on this very road. The stories vary: an old woman searching for her lost child, a young couple whose lives were cut short in a fatal crash, or a lone traveler who never made it to their destination. These spirits, they say, are trapped, doomed to relive their final moments over and over, unable to find peace. But why this road? What is it about this stretch of asphalt that seems to draw these lost souls back from the beyond? Some locals speak of an ancient history, long before the road was paved. They whisper of a time when the land was used for dark rituals, or perhaps as a burial ground for those who died under mysterious circumstances. Could it be that the road was built over sacred or cursed ground, disturbing the spirits and binding them to this place for eternity? And then there are the more recent tales, the first-hand accounts from drivers and travelers who have encountered these apparitions. They describe the same chilling experiences: the sudden appearance of a figure, the coldness that seeps into the car, the overwhelming sense of dread. Some have even claimed to see the ghostly figure sitting in the back seat of their car, reflected in the rearview mirror, only to disappear when they turn around in terror. What would you do if you were driving down this road and saw one of these apparitions? Would you stop to investigate, or would you speed up, desperate to leave the haunted stretch behind? And what if the figure didn't disappear, but instead followed you, keeping pace with your car, its ghostly form growing more distinct with each passing moment? How would you escape something that isn't bound by the rules of the living? The origin of these apparitions may remain a mystery, but the fear they instill is very real. For those who have seen them, the experience is something they will never forget. They speak of it in hushed voices, warning others to avoid the road at night. But there are always those who are drawn to the unknown, who seek out the thrill of a ghostly encounter. And for them, the road waits, ready to reveal its secrets to those brave, or foolish, enough to listen. Could it be that the apparitions are trying to tell us something? A warning, perhaps, or a plea for help from the other side? Or are they simply echoes of a tragic past, replaying endlessly in the darkness? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: this road is not just a path from one place to another. It is a portal, a gateway between the world of the living and the world of the dead. So the next time you find yourself on a lonely road at night, with nothing but the sound of your engine and the darkness ahead, remember the stories. Keep your eyes on the road, but be aware of what might appear in the periphery, just at the edge of your sight. Because on roads like these, the past is never truly gone, and you might just find yourself face to face with a ghostly apparition, caught between two worlds. This is just the beginning of our exploration of the haunted road. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the history, the sightings, and the chilling experiences of those who have crossed paths with the unknown. The road ahead may be dark, but the stories it holds will light the way, if you dare to follow. The legend of the vengeful spirit. In a quiet village, hidden away from the bustling world, there lingers a tale that has been passed down through generations, a story of love, betrayal, and vengeance. It is the story of a woman who once lived among the villagers, her life entwined with theirs, until fate dealt her a cruel hand. Her name has been lost to time, but her presence, they say, still haunts the village, her spirit bound by anger and sorrow. What could have turned a gentle soul into a vengeful spirit, one that continues to cast a shadow over the lives of those who remain? Long ago, in a small cottage at the edge of the village, there lived a woman who was known for her kindness and beauty. She was loved by many, and her laughter was said to be the very melody of joy itself. But life, as it often does, took a darker turn. The woman fell in love with a man from the village, a love that was deep and true. Yet, this love was not to last. Betrayal came swiftly, like a thief in the night, stealing away her happiness and leaving her heart shattered. The man she loved, it is said, had promised her the world, only to abandon her for another. Stricken by grief and humiliation, the woman's despair grew into something far more dangerous. The villagers speak of how she changed, her once bright eyes growing cold, her laughter silenced by the weight of her sorrow. But it was not just her heart that grew dark. Some say she began to dabble in forbidden practices, seeking out ways to curse those who had wronged her. Then, one fateful night, the woman was found dead. The exact circumstances of her death remain a mystery, with whispers of foul play or perhaps even her own hand ending her suffering. But whatever the truth may be, it was clear that she did not go peacefully. Her body was laid to rest in the village cemetery, but her spirit, twisted by anger and betrayal, refused to move on. It wasn't long after her death that the villagers began to experience strange occurrences. At first, it was just a cold breeze that seemed to come from nowhere, or the feeling of being watched when no one was around. But soon, the sightings began. Villagers claimed to see a woman, pale and gaunt, her eyes burning with an unnatural fire, standing at the edge of the forest or near the place where her cottage once stood. She was often seen at night, her figure flickering in the darkness like a candle about to be snuffed out. Those who were unfortunate enough to meet her gaze spoke of a chilling terror that gripped them, an overwhelming sense of dread that left them paralyzed. Some reported hearing her voice, a soft whisper carried on the wind, filled with words of vengeance and curses. "He will pay," she would say, or, "You will all suffer as I did." It was clear to the villagers that this was not just a ghost, but a spirit consumed by rage, seeking retribution for the wrongs done to her in life. But her vengeance was not limited to the man who betrayed her. Over time, her anger seemed to spread, affecting anyone who crossed her path. Crops failed, livestock died, and illness struck the village with alarming frequency. The villagers began to fear that her curse had tainted the very land itself, and that no one was safe from her wrath. Even today, the legend persists. The villagers still tell the story of the vengeful spirit, warning others to tread carefully near the places she once inhabited. Some say they can still feel her presence, a cold shiver down their spine, or a sudden sense of unease that comes out of nowhere. There are those who claim to have seen her, standing silently at the edge of the village, watching, waiting. Others speak of dreams in which she appears, her eyes filled with the same sorrow and anger that marked her in life. What drives a spirit to remain in this world, refusing to find peace? Is it the depth of her betrayal, the pain of her lost love, or the dark practices she may have embraced in her final days? And what would it take to finally lay her to rest? Could her spirit be appeased, or is she doomed to wander the village forever, her anger never fully quenched? The villagers live in uneasy coexistence with the spirit, respecting her memory and the pain she endured, yet always wary of her lingering presence. They avoid the places she is said to haunt, and they speak her name only in whispers. For they know that her story is not just a legend, it is a reminder that some wounds never heal, and some spirits never rest. As we continue to explore the tales of the vengeful spirit, we'll delve deeper into the accounts of those who have encountered her, the mysterious circumstances surrounding her death, and the possible ways to finally bring her peace. But beware, once you begin to learn her story, you might find yourself drawn into the same darkness that claimed her, a darkness from which there may be no escape. In the heart of a forgotten valley, nestled between ancient, towering trees, lies a village that time itself seems to have abandoned. The cobblestone streets are silent, the houses weathered by years of neglect, and the once vibrant community now reduced to a few souls who rarely venture beyond the village's edge. This is a place where shadows linger a little too long, where the air is thick with secrets, and where every whispered word carries the weight of something unseen. The villagers, those few who remain, are an odd lot. Their faces are etched with the kind of weariness that comes from generations of isolation. They speak little to outsiders, their eyes always shifting, as if watching something, or someone, just beyond the reach of sight. But there's something more, something that hangs over the village like a dark cloud. It's a sense of dread, an unspoken fear that binds the villagers in silence. What could they be so afraid of? What secrets lie hidden behind their tightly closed doors? There are rumors, of course. Stories that outsiders hear in passing, tales of strange gatherings deep in the forest at night. The villagers disappear into the woods, only to return hours later, their clothes drenched in sweat, their faces pale and drawn. Some say they've seen the flicker of flames in the distance, heard the low, rhythmic chanting that rises and falls with the wind. But no one dares to ask, and those who do are met with cold stares and silence. Could it be that something ancient and malevolent is being worshipped in those dark woods? What kind of rituals could drive these people to such secrecy? Every so often, someone new arrives in the village, drawn by the mystery of the place. Some come seeking answers, others out of morbid curiosity. But the village has a way of holding on to its visitors. There are stories of people who came to investigate the rumors, who began asking too many questions, and then simply vanished. Their belongings left behind, their homes undisturbed, as if they had simply walked out one day and never returned. What happened to them? Were they silenced by the villagers, or did they discover something that cost them their lives? There are those who have managed to escape, their stories fragmented and filled with terror. They speak of being watched, of waking in the night to find figures standing in the corners of their rooms, eyes gleaming in the darkness. They speak of dreams, horrible, twisted dreams, of being pursued through the forest by something they couldn't see but could feel. Something hungry, something ancient. Could these be mere figments of fear, or is there truly something sinister lurking in the shadows of this isolated village? The questions linger, unanswered. The village remains, shrouded in mystery, its inhabitants bound by a pact of silence. And yet, the allure of the unknown is powerful, drawing in the curious, the brave, or perhaps the foolish. Would you dare to uncover the truth? Or would you, like so many before, find yourself lost to the darkness that surrounds this forsaken place? The choice is yours, but beware, for once you step into the shadows, there's no guarantee you'll ever find your way out again. In the center of the village, standing like a sentinel of times long past, is an ancient church, its stone walls weathered by centuries of wind and rain. The church once served as the heart of the community, a place where villagers gathered to seek solace and hope. Its towering spire could be seen from miles away, a beacon of faith in an otherwise desolate land. But now, it stands abandoned, its doors closed, its windows shattered, and its once grand bell silent. What could have led to the downfall of such an important place? What darkness now resides within its crumbling walls? The history of the church is steeped in both reverence and fear. Built over 400 years ago, it was said to have been erected on sacred ground, a site where ancient rituals were performed long before the arrival of Christianity. The villagers, eager to protect themselves from the unknown forces that lurked in the forest, built the church as a sanctuary, a place where they could pray for protection. But as time passed, strange things began to happen. It started with whispers, soft, indistinct murmurs that echoed through the nave during the night. The priest, a devout man named Father Gregory, dismissed them as the wind, but the villagers knew better. They had heard tales of spirits that lingered in the woods, restless and angry, and they feared that the church, built on their sacred ground, had awakened something that should have been left undisturbed. Then came the tragedies. It began with the death of a young child, found lifeless at the altar one morning, her eyes wide with terror, her skin cold as stone. The villagers mourned, but they couldn't shake the feeling that something evil had taken her. Then, Father Gregory was found hanging from the bell tower, a look of agony frozen on his face. The church bell, which had rung out so joyfully on Sundays, now tolled on its own, a haunting, mournful sound that echoed through the village at all hours. What dark force had claimed the lives of the innocent? Could the church itself be cursed, tainted by the blood spilled within its walls? The villagers began to avoid the church, its doors now locked, its once vibrant interior now dark and foreboding. But even from afar, they couldn't escape its presence. Strange lights were seen flickering inside at night, and those who dared to approach spoke of a coldness that seeped into their bones, a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Some claimed to hear the voice of Father Gregory, whispering warnings from beyond the grave, while others swore they saw the ghostly figure of the child, wandering the aisles, searching for something, or someone. Was it a warning? Or was the church trying to lure more souls into its cursed grasp? The stories grew more terrifying with each passing year. Some spoke of a shadowy figure that appeared in the bell tower at midnight, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Others claimed that anyone who entered the church after dark would never return, their bodies found days later, twisted and broken, their faces contorted in fear. Could these be the ramblings of a superstitious mind, or is there truly something malevolent within the walls of this forsaken church? The church still stands, a silent witness to the horrors that unfolded within. The villagers, now fewer in number, avoid its shadow, fearing the curse that lingers there. But the allure of the unknown is strong, and there are always those who seek answers, who dare to enter the church and confront whatever dark force lies within. Would you be brave enough to step inside? To face the curse that has claimed so many lives? Or would you, like those before, fall victim to the evil that resides within these hallowed walls? The church awaits, its doors creaking open, inviting you into the darkness, but once you enter, there may be no turning back. Beyond the edge of the village lies a forest, dense and ancient, where the trees grow so tall and close together that even on the brightest days, the sunlight struggles to pierce through the thick canopy. The villagers call it the Blackwood, a name whispered in fear, for this is no ordinary forest. It's a place of shadows and secrets, where the wind seems to carry voices, and the air is thick with an otherworldly presence. Few dare to enter, and those who do often do not return. What is it about the Blackwood that instills such terror in the hearts of the villagers? Why does it seem to devour all who step foot inside? The stories of the Blackwood are as old as the village itself. Generations have passed down tales of a place where time stands still, where the trees themselves seem to move, shifting and twisting to confuse those who wander too far. But it's not just the unsettling atmosphere that has earned the forest its fearsome reputation, it's the disappearances. For as long as anyone can remember, people have gone missing in the Blackwood. It started with hunters who ventured too deep, their paths lost among the labyrinth of trees. Then, travelers passing through the village began to disappear, their last known destination always the same, the Blackwood. The villagers have searched, sending out parties to comb the forest, but the missing are never found. No traces, no tracks, not even a whisper of where they might have gone. What could be lurking within the Blackwood, capable of swallowing men whole without a trace? Theories abound, each more terrifying than the last. Some say the forest is alive, that it feeds on the souls of the living, drawing them deeper into its heart until they are lost forever. Others speak of a creature, an ancient being that prowls the forest, unseen but always watching, waiting for the right moment to strike. There are those who believe the Blackwood is a gateway, a portal to another world where those who enter are trapped, unable to return. Could it be true? Could there be a force so powerful, so malevolent, that it can bend the very fabric of reality? But not all believe in monsters and gateways. Some of the older villagers whisper of a curse, a pact made long ago by the ancestors to keep the village safe. The forest, they say, was once sacred ground, a place of worship for dark spirits. To keep these spirits at bay, the villagers offered sacrifices, first animals, then, as the spirits grew more demanding, human lives. When the sacrifices stopped, the spirits became angry, and now they take what is owed to them, luring the unsuspecting into their domain, never to return. Is it possible that the disappearances are the work of vengeful spirits, exacting a price for a broken promise? The Blackwood stands as a testament to the unknown, its mysteries unsolved, its dangers ever present. And yet, despite the fear, there are always those who feel the pull, who are drawn to the forest as if by some unseen force. They go in search of answers, in search of those who have been lost before, but they never return. Their names are added to the long list of the missing, their fates sealed within the dark embrace of the Blackwood. Would you dare to venture into the forest? To uncover the truth behind the disappearances? Or would you, like so many before, find yourself lost in the shadows, another victim of the Blackwood's insatiable hunger? The forest waits, its secrets hidden in the dark, but once you enter, there's no guarantee you'll ever find your way out. On the outskirts of the village, where the land begins to slope gently towards the river, lies an old cemetery, its gravestones weathered and crumbling with age. The iron gate, once sturdy and proud, now hangs crooked on its hinges, groaning in the wind. The path leading through the cemetery is overgrown, the stones half buried beneath tangled vines and moss. This is a place where the past lingers, where the dead are never truly at rest, and where the living tread carefully, for fear of disturbing something that should remain undisturbed. What is it about this cemetery that keeps the villagers away, even in the light of day? What spirits linger here, refusing to move on? The cemetery is as old as the village itself, the final resting place for generations of villagers. Each stone tells a story, some of love, others of loss, and many of tragedy. But among the graves, there is one that stands out, a monument taller and grander than the rest, adorned with carvings that have long since faded. This is the grave of Lord Reginald Blackwood, the village's founder,